Merry Meet everyone, Neve here with the Rainbow Cauldron, and this is your weekly general reading for April 28th through May 4th, 2019. This week I'll be using the Animal Spirit Oracle deck from the Wild Unknown, this one here, and the Green Witch Tarot from Anne Mora, this one here. Alright. So if you're new here, what I do is I draw one card from an oracle deck, which will represent the general theme of the week, and 3 cards from a tarot deck, which will represent the general flow of energy throughout the week. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so we have the zebra. All right, so if you've been watching my episodes lately, you'll know that this deck is actually a new deck for me. So I'm not completely familiar with the cards. And how do you get familiar? Well, you use the cards. So I have been using this deck a lot. I will be using the book for part of these to see what the artists or the author's interpretation of these cards are. But before I do that, I want to try to sort of get my understanding of a zebra and the sort of energy that it might exude. And so when I think of a zebra, obviously the first thing anyone is going to think of are those stripes. And what's the purpose of those stripes? Well, it's the whole purpose of that is so that they are camouflaged in nature. And we see that kind of shown here with the stripes of the background of the card going along with the stripes of the zebra itself. So it kind of makes me think of like a clever disguise or some sort of creative disguise. And then of course it's a very black and white card, but at the very center here we have the triangle in the third eye. So there's sort of a knowing power to this. So it's hidden, it's clever disguise, but we see that cleverness here, and we see the intelligence and the sort of the knowing power of the zebra. So let me see what the book says about this. So the zebra section, zebra it's before spirit. Okay. Oh, zebra right here. Okay. So, eccentric, creative, visionary. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They are young at heart, well-cultured, and have an undying curiosity about life. Being in the company of a zebra personality not only is a delight, but also opens our minds. That's really seen here. Be prepared, their potent magic is contagious, and you may soon find yourself in a faraway land. Expanding your worldview. Yeah, expanding your worldview is definitely what I'm getting from the zebra here. While having a blast. Zebras also like to contribute to the global health through environmental or volunteer work. This card may be a hint to pack your bags. Okay, so a travel element. So when in balance, it's a card that represents something that's very worldly, enthusiastic, fashion forward. I definitely see that with the zebra, fashion forward. Yeah, and it didn't mention, what I had mentioned before, which was that well-hidden, clever disguise, but the cleverness is really what's being exuded here in the creativeness, and then of course that visionary and worldview element. All right, so that is the oracle card. Let me get the tarot cards and we will do the next part. Okay, so we have 19, the sun. Okay, then we have the 6 of Athames. Interesting. And finally, we have the Knight of Chalices. Okay, so when I look at these cards as a whole here, the element that's really being, that's really like in my face here is that travel element. because both the Six of Athmes and the Knight of Chalices are cards having to do with travel, and the Zebra card also, as we mentioned, had to do with travel and a world view, expanding our horizons. The Sun this represents everything being illuminated, everything, knowledge being laid out on the table, a burst of energy and vitality. So we just see a lot of energy right here, a lot of, whereas where I thought the zebra sort of represented, being hidden well, blending in, I guess is a word I could say. Here we're laying that all out on the table. We're saying, here I am. And just being very in your face, knowledge being shared, everything being put out on the table here. And then the Six of Athmes. This is cards that's often about, closing ourselves off. It's more about moving away from a situation, moving away from a bad situation, from problems, from issues, and really, ending a problem and removing ourselves from a situation. And also, obviously, having to do with travel, like literally. And now, traditionally, the Six of Swords, or Athmes, there's a person in a boat who's closed off, like it's usually depicted as like a woman, and she's got her cloak over her, she's very hidden, whereas this one, we actually see the person here, and it's a man, and he is facing us, so we actually see this person. So it's not like it's a getting away from the situation secretly. It's sort of announcing our moving away from conflict, from issues, from problems, and letting people know that we're done with this, we're moving on. And then the Knight of Chalices here, another card about travel. This is a very positive, passionate sort of energy. We're moving towards something greater, and so it's it's a very charismatic card. It's a very it exudes a lot of confidence, but also like a negative to it is a short attention span, but sort of being distracted by something and moving on. But yes, a lot of energy about travel here, about being very worldly, expanding our horizons, getting more illuminated, more knowledge, letting the problems be elsewhere, moving away from problems, and moving toward something creative and fun and passionate. And yeah, that's a lot of the energy that I'm seeing this week. So I will leave it here. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next week. Blessed be. Bye.